morning, Shorty. How you doing today?
I'm all right. How you doing? A little under the weather, but I'm all right.
Yes, we hear that. We hear that. Well, we
Yeah, my
appreciate
voice is
you.
off.
Off.
Yeah, but I'm a power through.
All right, we appreciate the effort, and we have folks out there that are looking forward to this week's around the world of sports. So we really appreciate you power throughing, not feeling well.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm gonna start off topic. This is obviously around the world of sports, but I want to talk a little bit about Takeoff, 1/3 of the Migos, who was killed recently.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace to Takeoff. Unfortunately, he was killed in Houston after a private party, outside the private party, at a billiards and bowling spot. And he was shot and he was killed at the scene.
Prayers and condolences
So
go out to his loved
prayers and
ones.
condolences to his family and friends, and everyone that he affected. 28 years old, going too soon. So rest in peace to Takeoff. Can we please stop the senseless killing, please? But rest in peace to him. Tough segue, but I want to talk about Steve Nash, who was recently fired by the Brooklyn Nets. They call it a mutual decision. I call it a firing. Brooklyn Nets 2-5 record under Steve Nash. Obviously, with the talent they have, that's not a very good record. But I don't entirely put that on Steve Nash. When Steve Nash was hired, he was hired with no experience, no coaching experience at all. Had a lot of playing experience, particularly with the Phoenix Suns, but no coaching experience at all, not even on the assistant coaching level.
Right.
I always felt like that was an appetite for disaster.
Yeah, a little premature.
I think it was very premature. He was a great player, but with no coaching experience, I thought that would be a tall task, especially with coaching the type of personalities on that team. When he got the job, you had Kyrie Irving, who basically said, me and KD, we don't really need a coach. We basically can coach the team ourselves, which that was alarming to me. I'm like, the man has not coached one job yet, and Kyrie's coming out and saying that they don't need a coach. Well, how's that work? To me, it was already set up for failure.
Right.
Just by making those comments. And as the seasons went on, that proved to be the case. KD, over the summer, requested a trade, and he also requested that Steve Nash be fired.
But which is it? Because he don't need both.
Right. He
If
basically
you leaving, well,
he
this
basically
is
requested a
legitimate
trade, and he was like, if you don't trade me, the stipulation is to fire those guys to try to keep me
Nash,
in
and
Brooklyn.
by those guys, you mean Nash and
Nash
the,
and the GM, Sean Marks. Brooklyn Nets were smart enough not to fire those guys at the time. And they basically told KD they were not trading him. They looked, but they didn't find anything that they thought was deemed to be a good trade in their estimation. So they decided to keep him, and apparently they had a closed-door meeting or whatever, and cooler heads prevailed, so to speak. But the season still started off in a bad way. Prior to the season, James Harden was traded for Ben Simmons. And if anybody knows anything about Ben Simmons, he had a bout with his mental health, which you could look at that in many different ways that I'm not going to go into. But he's not the most reliable player.
that was during his time with the 76ers.
With the 76ers, exactly. He's been playing with the Brooklyn Nets, but he doesn't look like the old Ben Simmons. He has prior to the 76ers. Well, not even prior. While he was on the 76ers, when he was playing before he had the mental health issues, He was playing pretty well,
Okay.
but he hasn't looked like that same player since. You know, I question his desire to play basketball, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I
That's a
question.
strong question.
Yeah, I mean, I could be wrong, but I watch the games. You know, full disclosure, I'm not a Brooklyn Nets fan. I'm a New York Knicks fan. But I'm a New Yorker, and I watch their games sometimes.
And you're a huge
I'm a huge basketball fan, period. I can watch any team.
Right.
Even if I don't necessarily like the team, I can watch them because I just enjoy watching basketball. And I watch the game within the game. You know, I watch players' reactions. I watch I look at different players, and I look at and I take what I see. And to me, he looks like a player who doesn't love basketball. He looks like a player who's good at basketball, and plays because he can play.
Right.
But I don't see the passion. He doesn't look like he really enjoys it, and he doesn't want to shoot. You know, his confidence has been shot to the point that he just refuses to shoot the basketball.
Wow.
You know, that's pretty bad. You know, and he does other good things on the court, but you got to be able to shoot the ball at least a little bit. You know, or you at least got to be willing to put shots up.
Right.
So I don't know. They got a lot of different things going on off the court that have nothing to do with basketball.
Right. Including Kyrie.
When Kyrie, I'm going to get into that now. Oh, one more thing about Steve Nash. It looks like the Nets are going to hire Ime Udoka, who was with the Boston Celtics, who was a suspended coach for them with his controversy. Looks like they're going to hire him. The thing is, as soon as they fired Steve Nash, this name Ime Udoka came up. And basically, it seems like they hired him already, more or less. So it seems to me that they had planned on.
They kind of knew what they were.
They kind of knew what they were doing before Steve Nash knew. It seems.
The rest of us are just catching up.
We're just catching up now because, to me, it's like you hired him already, more or less.
But I thought Ime was only suspended and not fired from the Celtics.
No, he was suspended, but what happens? The Celtics, they agreed to let him go.
Oh, okay, they agreed.
They agreed to let him go. It's not a situation where they're like, oh nah, that's our
not
coach.
locked in
Nah,
over there.
yeah, because ultimately I think the Celtics were gonna let him go. I think they just suspended him for lack of saying fire. Because he did such a great job there. And again, the report on the so-called relationship was a consensual relationship. It just went against their policy as a team.
And that's referring back.
That's
to
what's
the
referring back to the
situation
Boston
that
Celtics situation with
the Celtics and Ime.
Ime Udoka, right? Exactly. So I think that Steve Nash was kind of set up to fail for quite a while. I don't think it just started within the past week or two. Let's get into Kyrie Irving a little bit.
Oh boy.
This man recently put out a post on Twitter. He retweeted something, a documentary that's has a lot of anti-Semitic tropes in it. I don't know if Kyrie Irving actually watched the documentary or not, but he did retweet it. If he didn't watch the documentary, I think that's
Irresponsible.
a very, very irresponsible way of handling your account. You don't repost something that you don't know about, and if you do know about it, it shows that you support what's said in that particular film. I have not seen the film, but all accounts say that it's very anti-Semitic. He has not fully apologized for this, which I find to be quite shocking. He put out a statement, but nowhere in the statement has he said sorry. The word sorry is nowhere in the statement to be found. The words I apologize are nowhere in the statement to be found. Apparently, he's donating $500,000 to the Anti-Defamation League. and the Brooklyn Nets are also donating $500,000 to the Anti-Defamation League. But I just don't think he's taking full responsibility for his action. And I find that to be very unfortunate. I find it also to be unfortunate that the Brooklyn Nets nor the NBA has suspended him.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, I don't understand why he hasn't been suspended at all. You know, and he hasn't made himself available to the media either since this has happened.
Well, he had that one.
He had the one back and forth with one reporter, which was pretty contentious. And after that, he hasn't appeared before the media. Hopefully that will change soon and he can give more perspective on what he thinks and what he feels.
Hopefully this will be a learning opportunity for him.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Because I don't think Kyrie Irving is a bad guy. I think he's a disillusioned guy in a lot of ways. I think he has a lot of learning to do. And I also challenge other NBA players to actually say something about it. You know, it's kind of been radio silence when it comes to other NBA players and how they deal with their fellow NBA players sometimes when they make mistakes.
I think
Reggie Miller has actually commented on that. Reggie Miller commented on that in one of the broadcasts, and he challenges NBA players to step forward and say something when one of their NBA brethren goes the wrong way. You know, he challenges them to do that, and I think that was right of him to say that. Amari Stoudemire has also come out and challenged Kyrie to apologize for making the mistake that he made. Again, I don't think Kyrie Irving's a bad guy. I don't even think Kyrie Irving's a racist. I don't think any of that.
Listen, we all make mistakes.
Yeah, and it's fine. But
own up to it.
Be culpable. Be culpable. That's it. You know, I feel like his apology was not a full blown apology. I feel like it came short of a full apology. And I think people want to hear sorry. I think they want to hear that.
No, and sincerity.
Right, and that's the thing. The thing is, his statement didn't come out right away. Like, he kind of doubled down.
Correct.
And that was a big mistake. Don't double down on what you did. And don't say you didn't support something when you actually retweet something. Retweeting something is a form of support. So I think he has some lessons to learn in life. And hopefully he'll get there. But again, I don't think he's a bad guy. Moving on. Last week, Vasily Lomachenko had a fight versus Jermaine Ortiz. It was a lightweight 135 pound bout. Ended up being a unanimous decision for Loma. I like to say that was a very, very good fight. Jermaine Ortiz is an up-and-coming boxer, and he proved that he has a lot of heart.
He did his thing in that fight.
He did his thing. The first half of that fight, Jermaine Ortiz was winning that fight.
He was definitely winning.
He was winning that fight. It was clear. It wasn't maybe he was winning. No, he was winning that fight. And Loma looked a little old in the beginning of that fight. But Loma, with his experience and his ring savvy, second half of that fight, he owned the second half of that fight. And he did enough to win the fight.
And wasn't this Ortiz's first, full rounds?
Yeah, I think they did 12 rounds. I don't believe he's gone 12 rounds before.
So that was his first 12-round fight.
I believe so.
And it showed.
It showed.
He did well the first half, and then
he was very athletic in the first half. He used his size. He's a bigger guy than Loma. He used his length. He used his jab. He used the ring very well. But in the second half of the fight, he slowed down a bit. He couldn't maintain the level that he fought at in the first half of the fight for the full 12 rounds.
So this is a good experience.
So it's a great learning experience for him. I think he's going to take a lot away from this fight. And I don't think guys are going to be too eager to get in the ring with this guy. I mean, he's a very talented opponent, and I think that he has a very promising career ahead of him.
Absolutely. Agreed.
So shout out to Jermaine Ortiz. He did a great job. Even in a loss, he did a great job. I look forward to seeing him fight again.
Yes. Yes.
And shout out to Loma for winning the fight.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Loma for winning the fight. I've been following Loma for quite a while. He's one of my top fighters. And shout out to him for everything that he's going through, being a Ukrainian man.
Correct.
And actually fighting for his country prior to this fight.
Right. Physically
in the Ukraine, actually fighting, like taking up arms. So shout out to Loma for sacrificing for his country. And I look forward to seeing him again as well. Hopefully his next fight will be with Devin Haney, who actually was at Madison Square Garden to watch the fight. So hopefully Loma and Devin Haney will get in the ring and have a fight.
That should be
A great fight. So we look forward to that.
As much as we're disappointed that Crawford and Spence will not be getting in. That's an update. Crawford and Spence will not be getting in the ring later on this month. Right.
Not this month.
Not this year.
Not this year. If they get in the ring, it's going to be in 2023. Hopefully it happens. Hopefully it doesn't happen after 2023. I hope they fight while they're still in their prime. But it's not looking as good as it once did. Hopefully it happens. Like, give the boxing fans what they really want to see. So hopefully that happens. I'm really looking forward to that if it does happen, and hopefully sooner than later.
Correct.
Last thing, my Jets lost to the Patriots last weekend. Patriots 22, my Jets 17.
Yeah, it was close.
Yeah, it was close, but what does that mean? Still a loss.
I mean, it means they tried. They tried. That's what it means.
Yeah, losers don't get any sprinkles.
Okay. We're not looking for sprinkles. We're looking for effort.
Yeah, effort. Yeah, I'd say that if they were playing the Bills, who they play next week.
Okay. Not the Patriots.
Not the Patriots. This is the first time in a long time that I thought the Jets were better than the Patriots. The Jets have now lost 13 straight against the Patriots.
And they actually have the makings this year to have won
the Jets have a better team this season than the Patriots. They should have won the game. 13 straight against the Patriots, losing against the Patriots. Yeah, most of those were against Tom Brady. They no longer have Tom Brady. They do still have Bill Belichick, but they no longer have Tom Brady. And I just thought that the Jets would have a little bit better effort against the Patriots and would actually outscore the Patriots. You know, I just assumed that would happen. It didn't happen. Zach Wilson threw 3 interceptions, which did not help. He still plays like a young quarterback. You know, he's got a lot of growing pains, and it's just, you can't throw 3 interceptions against a disciplined Bill Belichick team. You can't do that. And another thing, you can't give up Nick Folk to the Patriots. Nick Folk is one of my best
He's one of the best
kickers of all time. And the Jets had him for many seasons.
That's right.
And he got away.
And he always came through for us.
And he always came through, and he came through for the Patriots with 5 field goals.
I mean, because that's what he do.
He scored 15 of their points.
That's what he do.
That's Nick Folk.
That is Nick Folk, honey. That's what he do.
And he was the difference in the game. No Nick Folk, we might have won that game. And he's a former Jet. So there's a lot of levels to this that does not feel good for me. You know, but it's like with the Bills coming up this weekend, that's going to be a tough game to win. We probably won't win that game. But against the Patriots, we should have won.
So, since you say that, that brings to my mind the question: do you feel like maybe they lost to the Patriots? Maybe the loss to the Patriots was a mental defeat, that they came in mentally defeated or mentally lagging due to the anticipation of playing against Bill Belichick's team, even a Bill Belichick team without Tom Brady? And do you feel like, the second part of the question is, do you feel like this same mental defeat losing to the Patriots last weekend will carry into them coming into the game with the Bills next weekend already mentally defeated?
I hope not. After all that, I hope not. I hope not. I hope they're not that fragile. I hope they're mentally more prepared than that. I hope they're mentally stronger than that. Again, the Bills are a much more talented team. I expect the Bills to win that game. I want the Jets to win, but I expect the Bills to win that game.
Based on talent.
Just based on their talent alone. The way I picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl. I stand by that.
Okay.
So I don't see the Jets defeating them. But I do expect the Jets to at least be competitive. Like if they play the way they're capable of playing, I expect them to at least be competitive. I don't expect them to get blown out. It's possible, but I don't expect it. If they played the way they played against other teams this season, the Jets have not had a bad season so far. I mean, they've run into some injuries, unfortunately, recently. And the story with the Jets, when they lose, have been turnovers and penalties. That's been the story of the season when it comes to the Jets falling short. It's been penalties and turnovers. But again, I expected them to beat the Patriots. They did not beat the Patriots. Bill Belichick seems like he has their number, no matter who's on the team, and it's unfortunate.
Listen, I don't need Tom. Watch this.
Right, and that's Belichick's attitude. You know, he's like, I can still win without Tom Brady, and at times he does. But again, I think the Jets, they dropped the ball on that one. But we shall see this coming weekend what happens. But that's really all I have for this show.
Well, we really appreciate you coming, this week, because obviously you're not feeling well.
I'm not. I apologize for that. I don't have the energy. But I tried to tough this one out.
Powering through with a sore throat and all. So we appreciate you.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you next week.
All right. Fair enough. Peace.
Peace.